What's going on, guys? Haven't done a couple videos in a couple days. I thought I'd cut a video today while I was going to get something to eat. Pretty much, this is the reason why I chose the V8. And one of the reasons why I chose the V8 was to feel like, you know, that guy, you know, who chooses the V6 and feels like they're on top of the world. You know, back when I was about 11, 12 years old, learning how to drive, you know, my dad didn't think I was ready for a V8, you know, when I was learning how to drive. Back then, honestly, 300 horsepower was a lot, and it actually came in a V8. So I pretty much started with like a 94 Camaro. It was a V6 at the time. My dad is not, you know, not like I am, where I prefer a V8. But back then, that's what he can get, that's what he could afford. So he had a V6 Camaro, and you know, that's what I learned in, and I progressively made it to the point where I was able to drive V8, had the responsibility to drive V8. But, you know, it's always that throaty, hearty exhaust sound from a V8, and, you know, having a big motor, having the power there when you want to use it. And, you know, it's just a great feeling to have, knowing you know, necessarily, you know, it doesn't have to be the ZL1, it's just the fact that you have a V8, sounds like American muscle. V6 doesn't sound like American muscle, let's put it that way. Because it's not really American muscle to me. It's just, you know, it's for the people that wanted to get good gas mileage, even though it gets the same exact gas mileage as a V8, damn near. But it's pretty much for those people who think they're saving gas, or, you know, some people can't afford a V8, which is fine, but everybody has their reasons why they choose a V6 to a V8, whatever, you know, whatever your preference is. But mine has to be literally exhaust, having the power. Truthfully, I never really wanted a V6, other than like a Honda Accord before I actually got into cars. And, you know, I really wasn't into cars. I wasn't studying it. I wasn't looking at Mustangs back then. I wasn't looking at, you know, old Camaros, Trans Ams, or anything like that I'm into now back then. Because pretty much, you know, I just wanted a car to get me from here to there, put some tint on it, you know, and have some nice little, not even gonna say rims, because I really didn't care about that neither, but tint, some nice stereo system, a nice stereo system at that, and that'll be it. I would have been happy. But I ended up getting into cars right when Transformers came out, and they, you know, brought the concept Camaro out, and at that point I knew, I was like, man, I want that. It looks like, you know, it looks like a manly car. It looks like I deserve that car. That car is meant for me. It's a train. That sucks. Before the ZL1 was even announced or came out, I wanted a cyber grade 2SS. And at the time, you know, it was still a hot commodity, so dealerships were still trying to get over MSRP for them. Pretty much markups go in between from $4,000 to $10,000, $12,000. And I remember trying to actually go get one, and they were telling me through email, hey, it's gonna be $49,000 for a 2SS. Why? And at the time it was what, 2010, 2011, so they were still hot. People still wanted them. They knew they could get away with the markup on them, and it just didn't ride with me. So I'm like, man, I'm not gonna pay 50 grand for a 2SS, and then they drop something else better, and it's in the same price range. I'm kind of gonna be pissed off. And for the car to be worth $36,000 at the time, it didn't make sense to go over 13 grand over the sticker just to say I have the car and have to do financing. So I just dropped it from there, just waited till I can get a better deal. Preferably, I did not want to use Camaro. No, man, I hate used cars unless it's like a car that you really can't get that's not used anymore, like a Trans Am or something like that, or 02 Camaro. And I pretty much just waited around. I was gonna get like I said, a cyber grade 2SS. At the time, it was automatic. That thrilled me. I didn't do anything about stick driving. I think it was around October, the beginning of October, end of October, where Chevy announced the ZL1. They were still testing it and everything, and I immediately called my dealership saying, hey, I want that car, you know, let me know when you got an allocation for it. And literally 2 months later, they got well, I think 4, and then production got cut down to 2, and I was the number 2 guy behind the doctor. But yeah, I mean, I just always wanted a V8. You know, it just felt like a manly car to have. You want to play with the big boys, you get a big boy car. Simple as that. You don't buy no V6 and then try to go out there and play with the big boys. Nice little Mustang GT here, and then it got the Chick-fil-A branding on it. Oh man, award winner. Oh, nice. That's sweet. Yeah, like I said, it's just the hardy sound of a V8 ripping down the street, you know, sounding like a monster, intimidating people. It's just another factor of why, man, let me turn this down, of why I chose a V8, man. It hits me, it gets me, and when you hear V6, honestly, it doesn't do much. It's it doesn't do anything for me, and it's not thrilling. It's not a great of a sound. It sounds like a little fart can or a lawnmower ripping down the street, and it just wasn't for me. And they try to be like V8s, and you know, I understand everybody's not able, but when they rip off the mufflers and think straight pipe sounds better, they just really want to be loud or be heard. That shit is really annoying. Sounds like a little fart can, and it's just not me. But those are the reasons I literally chose it, because I wanted the big boy. I wanted a hardy sounding, intimidating V8. You know, it didn't matter whether it was an SS or ZL1. I just so happened, you know, to look up and get an allocation for one, and I just went through with it. But you know, once again, you know, I chose V8. You choose V6, V4, EcoBoost, Turbo, Supercharged V8. It's your choice. Make the choice that makes you happy. V6 wasn't gonna make me happy at all, so that's why I chose the V8.